Joe Adam George is my guest. We've been talking about why Canada is no longer seen by our allies as a secure country. And we're talking about specifically, you're getting into the Muslim Brotherhood and how its goals are not friendly. It's not good. But does that mean that every Muslim man who is a member of the Brotherhood is bad?
Everybody who's involved with the Muslim Brotherhood, if they are aware of its ideology and what it is about, they're not innocent, for sure.
So is every Muslim man a member of the Brotherhood?
No.
Is there influence from the Brotherhood to engage and to get
absolutely
Muslim men to be
absolutely
part of it?
Because as you can see in their agenda itself and what the founder himself, Hassan al-Banna, talks about is to try and gather an army of believers to overturn and usurp the governments of the West.
Now, I know people, Canadians, watching what you're saying right now, saying, well, that sounds a little harsh. It sounds a little maybe paranoid that, anybody would not enjoy our way of life and anybody would want to change our way of life. There's evidence throughout Canada that there are forces at stake. Absolutely. I know them, you know them. Who want to radically change our way of life. Why doesn't our mainstream media, why don't our politicians address this?
Because it's the politically incorrect thing to talk about. You don't want to get in trouble. I had this very interesting article. I mean, they got in trouble. The BBC did just a few months ago, where they're essentially carrying water for the Islamists. So what they said was, they talked about, in the context of the Gaza war, they talked about British people converting to Islam, but they didn't use the word convert. They referred to it as revert. Now that is an Islamist ideology. It is to suggest that all of us, regardless of background, whether we are atheist, Christian, Jew, Hindu, LGBTQ, whatever, our natural state is that of being a Muslim. If we born into a Christian family or an atheist family, it's because we were born in the wrong place. So when you're talking about reverting to, or rather converting to Islam, you're essentially just reverting to Islam as opposed to converting. So BBC got into a lot of trouble for using the word revert. But you can see that how these people try to subtly push their propaganda through mainstream media. One other example I'll tell you that the Islamists love doing. Again, like I mentioned about historical revisionism.
Right.
Spain was once referred to as Al-Andalus because back in from the 8th century to the 11th century, it was under Muslim rule. So it was referred to as Al-Andalus. Now, according to Islamist theology, any nation that was once under Muslim rule is essentially meant to be under Islamic rule forever. So today you're seeing Islamists talk about wanting to recapture Spain and the greater part of the Iberian Peninsula, which includes Portugal as well, but converting it into a Muslim nation.
I know many people are watching this now and saying, this sounds incredible that there are people out there, it's like a spy novel, only writ large over the world, wanting to take over our society.
It is, but people do not want to believe it. I had somebody reach out to me earlier this month, a gentleman who happened to attend a conference in Canada, in Mississauga, not too long ago. Hear one of the speakers talk about making Canada an Islamic nation. The reason he reached out to me was because he read my articles in the Post talking about this, and he didn't believe me. He decided to go check it out for himself, and sure enough, he did it. So you must understand these people exist, and why these are not people like Osama bin Laden, dressed in a turban and long flowing robes with long beards and so on. These are people who could be sat next to you in the bus or working alongside you. These are doctors, engineers, lawyers, people in power. In 2015, at a Senate committee hearing, his name was Mark Lebeau, who was a director of a blog. The name escapes me, but they used to track jihadist activity in Canada. He referred to an an individual, I believe his name was Jamal Badawi, who was a Muslim Brotherhood operative, a well-known Muslim Brotherhood operative in Canada, where he mentioned in the early 2000s about he was encouraging Muslims to get into places of influence and power so that they could influence laws, our laws of land, in favor of Sharia.
This sounds crazy. I've got to take a break, but stay on that thought. Right back after this break, more of the invasion.